In New York, a judge has issued a temporary restraining order for Rockland County after Mayor Eric Adams tried to send migrants into the county because New York City is running out of spaces to shelter them. Adams' plan would also send migrants to Orange County, New York. So joining us now is Murad Awawdeh. He's an executive director of the New York Immigration Coalition. Thanks for joining us to talk a little bit more about this plan. So what is your response to Mayor Eric Adams' plan? I mean, he's basically sort of doing what he criticized, some of the governors from southern states for doing to New York.
Well, first, thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure to be in space with you, Amory and Vlad. New York has and will always be a welcoming place for immigrants and refugees. We've welcomed folks for centuries into our great state and our city. Over the past year, we've welcomed over 75,000 to 100,000 asylum seekers and migrants from the southern border, and currently over 30,000 are in the city's care. This current iteration of what we're seeing Mayor Adams do is trying to decompress the shelter system that we have in the city. Granted, we believe that it is the entire state's responsibility to support in this moment, but we just need to work together. We need to be able to coordinate with each other. We need localities to work together. We have members across the entire state who are ready and willing to step up and support, but we need to make sure that we're sending folks not to areas where they're not welcome, but making sure that we're building the support locally with our other parts of our state to get people the support that they need while they are getting on their feet.
So what does that support look like? What do the people who are in dire straits, who are migrants, need the most right now? And more importantly, where does that support come from? In other words, you perhaps hear the mayor or even the governor of New York saying, look, the economy is not the best right now. Inflation is historically high. Interest rates have gone up. Ordinary New Yorkers are struggling. So where are we going to find the money to do what needs to be done to help these individuals?
We have a really robust service rendering in New York State. Just recently, the state budget was passed, which included an additional $1 billion to support asylum seekers and migrants coming from the southern border. There's federal resources that are available through FEMA, as well as CBP's launching a new program. So there is resources that are out there. And I think that what we're seeing is in this moment in New York City, it comes down to a space issue, right? Like making sure that we have adequate space for people to shelter in. And the services that people need, first and foremost, is a place to put their head when they're coming from a place with no connection to the city or the state, making sure that they have a place to sleep. And then immediately after there, just making sure that we're providing them with healthcare access, as well as legal services to assess their immigration relief, and then be able to support them in getting that immigration relief filed. And then workforce development, everything you would think you would need in setting up your new life in a new place. I think that is what we have been fighting for, and we've been successful in securing additional resources for that. And, with, the talks of recession and, the austerity measures that we've been seeing across the board, the number one thing we need to do is invest in our people. And we need to be able to invest in all New Yorkers. We need to be investing in all folks who call the U.S. home, because that's our number one asset. It's our people. So we want to make sure that we are investing across the board. Historically, New York City has had a broken shelter system. And one of our top demands to the city and the state is to ensure that they expedite getting people who are in emergency shelter into permanent housing who've been there for years. This is before migrants even came into the city or the state. And people are stuck there because they don't have housing vouchers. They don't have support to get out. These are people who are actually working and need a little bit of support in getting themselves into permanent housing so they can really build their lives in our city. So I think that, this is a collective effort. This is not us versus them. This is our collective, our people, and we want to make sure that everyone's getting the support that they need in this moment.
I think it's a really good reminder because, there are going to be people out there that say, oh, what about, the Americans who have been people who were born here? What about the resources, that they could be getting? So I think it's a good reminder that more than one thing can be done at the same time. You mentioned
absolutely.
being able to secure additional resources. FEMA has recently given New York City more than $30 million to help the migrants. Just how is that money being spent?
So there's a number of different pots of funding that FEMA has, right? So the first pot that was before this past December was the Emergency Food and Shelter Program, and that was reimbursable by quarter. And then in the December omnibus, there was $800 million made available for all states across the country to apply for if they needed support. And they just released a little bit over $300 million to localities that needed support. There's an additional $450 million coming down the pike. And those resources are really intended to support people's food and shelter needs. How some localities are using it, I don't know, or if they're following the rules of that. But I do know that in New York City, we've spent at least $400 million at this point in shelter costs. So I think for New York City, the majority of the cost is going to shelter because, again, our shelter system was at capacity 2 years ago, not because asylum seekers came here. And we had to do an emergency expansion, which we have supported the city in doing. And we've opened up over 130 hotels, over, I think, 8 or 10 emergency relief centers. So the efforts have been Herculean. But we have to make sure that we're going a step beyond to ensure that we are getting people out of the shelter system as well, who've been there for 2 or 3 years and have no end to when they see the path for them to get into permanent housing.
Murad, Awawdeh, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.